many of us took language arts way back in 8th grade and 7th grade, and that refresher is definitely needed if you are not an English major, okay? Now, if you're an English major, girl, you got this. But if not, I definitely suggest spending some time on English and not assuming that just because you speak English, you're going to do well, okay? Hello, welcome, and welcome back. I'm Monique, a pre-nursing student over the age of 30, and this is where I share how I navigate my way through my classes and pass my classes. So I'm excited to share that I did pass my TEAS exam, and if you don't know what that is, it is the exam that is used by some educational institutions to really see your readiness for nursing school. So it is a requirement for some nursing school programs, right? In particular, it was for mine. So with this video, I really just want to share how I felt, going into taking the TEAS exam, maybe some mindset motivation tips for you guys that I wish I would have followed myself, and then also some resources that I would like to share with you all that really did help me as well. So first off, mindset. When I say mindset, what I mean is really not being afraid of this test. I know a lot of people, make different courses and YouTube videos for this test. You might see people saying how I made an A, how I got a 98%, whatever the case may be. Please understand that this is all advertising and marketing, and the bottom line is money and views when it comes to social media and the internet. So take everything with a grain of salt and understand that the majority of people are not getting that grade, okay? As a matter of fact, you can look up the national average percentage on each section of the TEAS exam, and you will see that to be the case. So, yeah. I want to share that because sometimes seeing these different videos is kind of like, oh, maybe I should be getting that grade too. Or maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should be getting what you need to get in order to apply for your nursing school program. Okay. So that being said, too, I want to say that you definitely want to get a good night's rest before. I know you will be excited. If you're anything like me, you'll be excited. You'll be nervous all at the same time. Okay. Your sympathetic nervous system will be on the rise. However, I am here to calm your sympathetic nervous system down, okay? Because I want to tell you that passing your TEAS exam is possible. It is not impossible. Passing your TEAS exam is actually going to happen, right? Because you are going to prepare for this exam in the best way possible. And that leads us into how to do that, right? Okay, so this video is for my pre-nursing students who have just finished anatomy and physiology, math, microbiology, and or chemistry. Okay? The reason is because that's what I did. So I don't know anything about anything else. I only know how to really guide you if you have already, just freshly finished these courses because you were in pre-nursing school. Okay. So that being the case, that's why I feel as though your mindset should be chill because you have already learned everything that you need to know on your TEAS exam. As a matter of fact, your pre-nursing classes were there to prepare you for your TEAS exam. So if you were someone who passed those classes with either an A or a B, then you are more than capable and more than prepared to take your TEAS exam. So that's my encouragement for you guys, okay? And again, that's my experience. I made A's and B's. I just finished pre-nursing school, and then I took the TEAS exam. I can only speak on what I know, okay? Now, I will say that I did not take chemistry. And that is something that I did have to do a deep dive into in order to actually even understand the basics. Because again, the last time I took chemistry was years ago, and my program did not require chemistry, to whereas your program might require that. So I suggest if it does require that, then you are really prepared for the TEAS exam, okay? So resources. The first thing that I suggest when it comes to taking the TEAS exam and preparing for that is to really go ahead and schedule your test at least 6 to 8 weeks before the test date. All right. So make sure you're picking a test date that's 2 months out. Okay. This way you have all the time you need to not just study, but to truly diagnose what subject matter you need to go deeper into. So, pro tip, the day that you book your exam 2 months out or 6 to 8 weeks out is the day you're also going to go ahead and download the official ATIT's test bank to your mobile phone as an app. Okay? The reason I say this is because T's has their own, you know, set of study materials, and the most inexpensive is going to be that test bank. And that test bank is going to be really good because if you go ahead and get that test bank of over 2,000 questions for under $30 at the recording of this video, prices do change. But if you go ahead and get that, that is the most inexpensive way to diagnose what you need to study more. Because on that particular study bank of questions, they're going to go into the different categories of reading and English and math and science. It's not just, this general thing. They're going to break it down as to exactly which part of science we're talking about. Biology, chemistry, anatomy and physiology. That is the great thing about that test bank that I absolutely love, because you can diagnose exactly which part of the science, which part of the math, and which part of the English that you need to study for, right? So you get it. Go ahead and book your exam. Go ahead and get the test bank. That's your first investment. I will say the exam is not free. Okay, it is something that I think is has a nice price tag on it, right? And so again, at the recording of this video, it is over $100. However, that could change with time. Okay, so just know that it is an investment. Again, you may have somebody paying for this for you, or you may have some type of financial aid, whatever the case may be. Just know that it is a price tag. Okay, so there you have it. That's going to be your motivation for studying. It was mine. I said, if I'm going to pay this much for a test, I'm studying. I am studying because I don't want to pay it again. Okay, so there you have it. Now that you got your test bank, you have your test date. Now we're going to go into a few things that I discovered that I need to go deeper into. Number one, chemistry. Again, like I mentioned, I did not have to take chemistry, so I definitely needed a refresher on chemistry. I'm not going to gatekeep, guys. I found an amazing professor right here on YouTube for free that helped me to understand chemistry bit by bit. All right. They also have a paid version, which I did purchase, which was very affordable. Okay. And it was worth every penny. So I'm going to leave that resource below. Also, I went ahead and went over math. So I went through 2 math practice sessions right here on YouTube. Now, I particularly like one individual that I learned from really well. I think many of us know who this person is, but I'm going to leave their resource below as well. I did 2 of their math practice exams or questions. No, yeah, two of their math practice tests, and they were really, really helpful as far as refreshing, right? I didn't spend a lot of time on that because, again, I just came out of that. So, and all of this really. So the only thing I didn't just come out of was chemistry. So I spent the most time on chemistry. Okay. So the next thing that I suggest spending some time on as well is your English, because a lot of us may assume that, we speak English, but the question is, do we speak it grammatically correct, right? And so that being the case, you will find out that upon studying, you may or may not be speaking, as properly as you think you do. So anyway, I do suggest refreshing up on English because, again, many of us, although taking English as a prerequisite, we did do a lot of writing. And in my opinion, when you do a lot of writing, they have so many different programs out here that help us along the way when it comes to writing. So I feel like you still need that refresher as far as language arts is concerned. Many of us took language arts way back in 8th grade and 7th grade, and that refresher is definitely needed if you are not an English major. Okay, now if you're an English major, girl, you got this. But if not, I definitely suggest spending some time on English and not assuming that just because you speak English, you're going to do well. Okay, now as far as reading is concerned, I did not do any preparation for that at all because, again, I just finished pre-nursing school. If I can't read and comprehend, then we have a problem. So you're perfectly fine, right? I was fine there. So that was no problem at all. So again, really kind of like focusing in on the problematic areas, right? And not necessarily the broad areas, okay? And so that's why I say what you think you may know, you may not. So, those are my suggestions as far as like resources are concerned. As you know, I didn't mention a ton of them. And as you can also probably see, I did not mention a book because I did purchase a book for ATIT's preparation. And let me tell you, the book was not helpful at all. Not at all. Not one bit. The only thing the book was helpful for was telling me the different categories that are on the T's and exactly how many questions are asked within that category. But that is something that ATIT tells you for free. That is something that Google can tell you for free. You can find that out. That is not private information. And so when it comes to these books and stuff, again, the internet is the internet. Take everything with a grain of salt. You have people out here promoting books, and that's fine if that's really what helped them. But just know there are so many resources that are not in books that can also help you learn. Okay. So I didn't have a book, I didn't use the book, and I passed. Okay. It's all about what you want on your TEAS exam and what your school requires. Figure those two things out because what you want and what they require may be the exact same thing, and then you're good to go. Right? So yes, that is what I have for this video. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys, encouraging for you guys, because I know that it can be a little bit, tedious and a little bit worrisome when you don't know what to expect and different things like that. But the TEAS is completely possible, completely something that you can pass when you prepare for the things that you need to prepare for, and when you go a little bit deeper into subject matters that you may not be as, well versed on. Okay, so let me know your experience as far as, did you pass? Maybe did you fail, and then did you pass, the second time, whatever the case may be. Also, as a side note, guys, make sure you understand just everything about the nursing school that you want to go to, because there are certain testing periods. So like, let's say that you do fail. And when I say fail, there really is no fail. Let's say that you do make a lower percentage than what the school requires. Then you need to know their testing period. So some schools are 45 days, some schools are 30 days, some schools are 14 days. Know that because you may not be able to retest within time to apply for the program, right? So, make sure you're really setting that date to take your test as early as possible. That way you have enough wiggle room if you want to retest to make a higher testing score, right? Also, too, another side note, and then we're finished. Your GPA matters. So I know people say C's get degrees, and that's great. They do. However, your GPA is going to help you as well when it comes to getting into the nursing school of your choice. So I personally, I wanted to keep all A's and B's, and I did because I wanted a 3.5 GPA or higher. Just know there are different things the school looks at. Every school is different. So make sure you have a list, a checklist of everything that your school requires in order to apply for their program. And that's going to help you to really see, where you stand as far as being a good candidate, and not the lowest candidate, but a good middle or top candidate for getting into the nursing school of your choice. All right, so I hope you guys have a productive and peaceful rest of your day, and I will talk to you on the next upload.